An odd trend I've seen with some users lately is that they are waiting for Valve to release SteamOS on the desktop to switch fully to Linux, and this has always perplexed me because we've practically had a better and more flexible SteamOS for years in the form of Bazzite. No, it isn't some mysterious mineral found on the moon. It is Universal Blue's gaming-oriented operating system, although it is a super cool real-life mineral as well. But it doesn't make much of a difference since we are talking about immutable distributions. So is it really the SteamOS we need while Valve cooks? I'm Oscar, the super user, and in a previous video I had talked about using Battlecera Linux to create a mini retro console in your living room. But what if you want to take it a step further? Not only do you want emulation, but also a system that allows you to do mostly anything you can do on a desktop PC, but in your living room. You exchange the office chair for the sofa. My choice for this task is the almighty and rather popular Bazzite. Just like SteamOS, you can choose to have it boot into the beautiful Steam Big Picture mode as soon as you turn the PC on and control the menus using a controller. It gives you that modern video game console feel right from the beginning with no tinkering. You also have the option to have a desktop, of course, and use desktop applications in case you want to browse the internet and cry at the price of RAM sticks from the comfort of your living room. So essentially, the folks behind Bazzite created a ready-made distribution that hardly involves any configuring or introducing magical commands into a terminal. It comes with Steam ready to go. It has all the vital graphic drivers for both Nvidia and AMD cards pre-installed, which is phenomenal in of itself. But here's what you must know about Bazzite that not many people tell you. It's an immutable distribution. As in, it doesn't move, it doesn't change. It only budges when the distribution maintainers want. The idea is brilliant, but not many people actually understand it. So the core of the operating system is locked down, read-only, just like the operating system on your phone or a PlayStation. You can't go modifying system files and directories willy-nilly. You install all your games and apps in user space, while system space is off limits for the likes of you. What is the advantage there then? Stability! Oh so glorious and heavenly stability. An update isn't going to ruin your movie or game night just because. And if something ever does go wrong, Bazzite keeps a perfect snapshot of the last working version. You just reboot, select the old version from the boot menu, and the problem fades away. This combination of a ready-to-game playground built on an unbreakable foundation is what makes it so perfect for a home theatre PC, or HTPC for short. It's designed to be a home appliance basically, rather than a computer. A reliable, predictable and powerful brain for your living room that you don't have to constantly fiddle with. You turn it on and play or watch a movie. For me, it is realistically the best option for a living room PC, unless you need Windows to play Fortnite or something. The downside to all of this is that the applications you install are all flat packs. Flat packs aren't bad per se. They are a great way to get applications working on almost any system imaginable, since they bundle all the dependencies the app needs and isolate it from other applications, just like on Android or iOS on your phone. But unlike on a phone, they do not ask for permissions automatically. The thing is, apps on phones normally don't have default access to your device's resources, but they ask for permission when they need it. So your scanning app asks to use the camera when it's about to use it. You say yes, and life goes on. With Flatpak on Linux, we don't have this exactly yet, and you need to realize why and then know how to enable permissions manually. Some apps actually do know when they are running as a Flatpak and have a pop-up telling you what they need with either a terminal command or what to do in Flatseal. This is an application that manages the Flatpak permissions, but not all of them do that, and the process isn't as smooth as clicking yes or no like on a phone. My opinion on all this is that immutable distributions are great for complete beginners to computers who are going to do very basic tasks that don't require complex system permissions, and that is why they are S-tier in my Linux beginner tier list. They are great for grandmas and our home theater PC. Or, for the other side of the spectrum, developers who love setting up DistroBox and managing containerized applications and tinkering with FlatSeal. But for the user in the middle, a tech-literate average user, it can be a bit confusing when you want to set it up as a more complex desktop device. But it's doable, and it means learning how Flatpak works and how DistroBox works in case you need applications which are not on Flatpak. With that huge disclaimer out of the way, let's build a home theater PC. As for today's build, we are using the GEEKOM A5 Pro mini PC with a AMD Ryzen 5 7530U, 60GB of DDR4 RAM, and 1TB of M2 SSD storage. Please note that GEEKOM has kindly provided me this unit for this project, but I am using it as an example of what you can do with any mini PC or a full-blown tower if you want in your living room. So a mini PC is ideal for me because of its size. I mean, look at this thing, it just fits in the palm of my hand, and you get quite a lot of bang for your buck, especially if you are limited in bucks nowadays with the whole debacle of computer parts going up in price like crazy. Sad times. Also, a really cool thing about mini PCs is how easy they are to open and swap out the RAM sticks or the included storage. The RAM it comes with is a single module of 16GB, but you can add a second module for that dual channel goodness, all the way up to 64GB if you wish. Another strength is the included ports. In the front we have two 3.2 type A USB ports, which are perfect for connecting a wired controller or a keyboard dongle, and a 3.5 audio jack connector for headphones. In the back we have HDMI 2.0 ports for screens, another 3.2 type A USB port, a single 2.0 type A USB port, and these beautiful 3.2 type C USB ports for all your modern accessories. And of course a 2.5 gigabits per second Ethernet port, but it also has wireless connectivity, Wi-Fi 6 to be exact. Finally, on the side it has an SD card slot, which you never know when you might want one, and it's always so good to have in the living room. It comes with Windows 11 Pro pre-installed, so you're ready to rock out of the box. But as you know, we'll be installing Bazzite today. So if we head over to bazzite.gg, good game, good choice of domain I guess, and we are presented with this beautiful website, one of the best presentations for a Linux distribution I've ever seen, to be honest. You can read further, but we are going to hit download, and in select my hardware, we're going to choose what best aligns with our target machine. In my case, home theater PC with an AMD GPU because our GEEKOM is using AMD integrated graphics. And for desktop, we are using KDE for the SteamOS experience. And now we click on the nice coloured download button. While it's downloading, I highly recommend you read the documentation. Now, Bazzite isn't complicated to install, but it does have some quirks, and some of you have reported that you get a blank screen or such after install. These are things that are talked about in the documentation, so please have a look. We click on Community and Docs, and then on Documentation. We get this awesome encyclopedia of Bazzite arcane knowledge. The installing Bazzite section here will be very useful in case you encounter an error. Right, with the ISO downloaded, we need to burn it into our trustworthy USB, so we plug that in. Make sure it's either empty or has data that you don't care to lose. We are using the Fedora Media Writer to burn the ISO because it is what the documentation strongly recommends, and it is available on Windows or Mac through this GitHub repository. You download the .exe for Windows or .dmg for Mac. And also, of course, Linux via the FlatHub store. So just open your graphical app store and look for Fedora Media Writer. If you are already using Fedora, it comes pre-installed. Now we choose the correct USB drive in Fedora Media Writer and the ISO we downloaded, and we burn it. Once finished, we are now going to plug it into our mini PC. As usual, when booting up a computer to change its operating system, you want to access the BIOS first. The key changes depending on your motherboard brand and model, but you normally get a clue on the screen when you power on. We're going to mash that button, and here in the BIOS, we want to change the boot order to prioritize our USB drive. Fun fact about Bazzite is that it is compatible with secure boot, so there is no need to turn it off. Once we boot into the live USB, we can mess around with a KDE Plasma desktop or just choose to install the system. This is Fedora's new Anaconda installer and is quite easy to configure. Just choose language, keyboard layout, your region, and if you want to dual boot or use the entire disk space for Bazzite. The installation does take a while though, quite longer than other Linux distros, but hang on there, it eventually finishes. Now that it's done, we can reboot the system. Now, when we turn on the PC, it will boot into our new Bazzite installation. If you chose the HTPC or handheld options, you'll be greeted by the Steam Big Picture Mode setup menus, just like on the Steam Deck. Steps here are easy to follow. We mainly want to connect online, add our Steam account, and we'll access the home Steam menu with our news and games. Now it's just a matter of using your computer like a Steam Deck, honestly. Big Picture Mode is fantastic because of its couch-friendly and console-like experience. We can install our games from here and run them, no complications. The interesting bit is actually hitting the escape key and accessing the desktop mode. This is where we get the traditional PC desktop, and you can do mostly anything that you would on a full-blown computer. Now, as I mentioned before, Bazzite is an immutable distribution, so the applications you can install are provided by FlatHub in the form of Flatpak packages. But that also means that you only worry about one repository and one form of package in the application store. If you have a Steam Deck, the experience now is extremely similar. You can web browse, download apps in the store, or enter Big Picture Mode Steam again. For games, playing my Steam library is just like on the Steam Deck, and this is the closest thing we have to SteamOS right now. You install all your games using the Steam interface and just press play. Now, the GEEKOM isn't exactly made for demanding gaming, but for light games it does just fine. Valheim runs nicely, and Deep Rock Galactic on medium settings manages to stay close to 40 FPS. Megabonk runs perfectly at a smooth 60 FPS. You could also use EmuDeck on Bazzite to automatically install and set up emulators just like on the Steam Deck, and it works seamlessly. With one setup process, it configures emulators for everything from the NES up to the PlayStation 2, automatically sorting them into my library with lovely artwork. When it comes to video streaming, you would just open the web browser and connect to your YouTube or media streaming accounts like Plex, and watch your films with the extra power that a mini PC can give you compared to the limitations of traditional streaming sticks. So the ultimate reason why Bazzite is the brain of my home theater PC is because it's built to solve the exact problems that make building a living room PC such a headache. The biggest pro, without a doubt, is that console-like reliability. Because of that immutable design, I trust it. I can let it update itself and not live in fear that it's going to implode right before movie night. Again, it turns your PC into a dependable household appliance, like a toaster. A very, very powerful toaster that plays video games. But I imagine it could also toast some bread if you heat it up as well. The second reason is the next to zero hassle involved during setup. The fact that it ships with the right NVIDIA drivers and the latest graphics updates for AMD, fantastic controller support, and essential tools already installed saves hours of frustration. It slices off the steepest, most painful parts of the Linux learning curve, which is fantastic if you're coming from Windows. It's designed to work, and for the most part, it absolutely does. But being real, no system is perfect. This is still Linux, and while Bazzite is incredibly reliable, you might occasionally have to roll up your sleeves, especially if a Flatpak needs certain permissions for it to have all its features. Some games with particularly nasty anti-cheat software still refuse to run, which is a problem with Linux gaming as a whole, not Bazzite itself. And while hardware support is fantastic, that one weird, obscure peripheral you own might need a bit of manual prodding to work. Finally, while performance is often as good or even better than Windows thanks to having less junk running in the background and having applied different performance patches, some cutting-edge tech like ray tracing can still have a slight edge on Windows for now. For me, the monumental leap in stability and ease of use is worth a handful of frames in a few specific games, but it's a trade-off. They're minor hurdles really, in what is otherwise an incredibly polished and powerful system. So thank you Universal Blue for providing an incredible platform for a home theatre PC. So even if it is ideal for home theatre PCs, can you really use it as a daily desktop driver? I will probably find out quite soon as I go through the Bazzite Daily Driver Challenge. I'm going to be wiping out NixOS on my main desktop PC, and I'll be using Bazzite for at least a month to see if I can still manage my daily activities on it. So stay tuned for a future report of Bazzite on the desktop, which involves Flatpak permissions and how to use DistroBox for containers. But to finish this video, all I have to say is that I have no doubt about using Bazzite as a living room PC. It's just perfect for that. Tell me if you run a similar setup in the living room or if you choose something else. I'd love to read you in the comments. Just remember that even if you do have incredible stability on Bazzite, you are still in charge. With great power comes great responsibility.